Have you ever wrapped up a long day feeling absolutely exhausted, even though literally all you did was stare at a screen? Well, you're definitely not alone. Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to dive into a truly fascinating philosophical guide for finding some much-needed clarity in our incredibly noisy, hyper-connected modern world. We're going to unpack exactly why that digital fatigue happens, and more importantly, how we can actually fix it. So, think about this for a second. Are we drowning in information, yet entirely starving for wisdom? This is kind of the ultimate crisis for digital natives today, right? We're facing endless scrolling, constant digital burnout, and this non-stop barrage of fleeting little facts. I mean, we literally have more data at our fingertips than any other generation in human history. But are we actually gaining any real understanding? It's a huge paradox. We are completely flooded with content, yet our minds often feel completely starved for something that actually matters. Now, the advice we're looking at today starts with a pretty bold, direct challenge right on the cover of Ryuho Okawa's text: put down the smartphone, read a book. What this work does is brilliantly adapt P.G. Hamerton's late Victorian intellectual philosophy, a massive inspiration from over a century ago, into a highly practical survival guide tailored specifically for millennials and the digital generation, trying to navigate all of today's chaos. Section 1. Modern Information Overflow. Let's set the stage and look at the environment we're currently trapped in. The author makes the compelling argument right off the bat. In our current environment, we constantly mistake the cheap, transient facts we consume on our phones for actual, meaningful knowledge. You know the drill. We skim a headline, we swipe through a quick hot take, and we suddenly feel like we've learned something profound. But here's the reality. That kind of information is rapidly consumed and just as easily forgotten. It is literally the intellectual equivalent of fast food. It leaves us totally full but completely unnourished. Section 2. Awakening to Intellectual Life. To understand how to break this cycle, the author shares a personal story in the foreword. Picture this. It's the late 1970s. Japan is in the middle of this massive, rapid economic growth, and a young Ryuho Okawa is spending his own hard-earned pocket money to buy and utterly devour Hamerton's The Intellectual Life. That intense reading experience was a huge catalyst for him. And this isn't just some abstract pie-in-the-sky theory. The book offers incredibly practical tools for preventing mental rust and managing your time, showing us exactly how to keep the mind sharp and stop wasting our precious energy. Section 3. Information versus wisdom. We have to draw a hard line here. We must cleanly separate the endless information that exhausts us from the true wisdom that actually enriches us. Look, information is fleeting and cheap. It's designed to be consumed and immediately discarded. Wisdom? Wisdom is universal. It's deep. As an author who has published over 2,400 books, Okawa emphasizes this as his own theory of intellectual life. True wisdom actually accumulates in the soul. It builds on itself to make you a more grounded, deeply insightful human being. In the Afterword, the author actually describes himself as someone who has deliberately trained both the left and right hemispheres of his brain. It's a fully integrated approach. Our modern digital lives constantly demand left brain activity, logic, data processing, rapidly reacting to notifications. But without intentionally making space for the right brain's intuition and deeper spiritual synthesis, well, we can never really convert all that raw data into lasting wisdom. Section 4. Life's cutting off. Okay, so knowing we need wisdom is one thing, but how on earth do we find the time for it? Enter Mikiri. This is an absolute game changer. It translates to a sense of cutting off, and it's the ultimate practical art for any focused learner trying to survive reality today. It essentially means consciously deciding what not to read, what not to watch, and exactly which feeds you need to unsubscribe from immediately, so you aren't leaking your valuable energy on things that simply do not matter. So, how do we actually do this? By aggressively practicing Mikiri, modern professionals can reclaim their time and finally beat burnout. You have to actively choose to step away from useless media and stop wasting time on trivial information. It's about fiercely protecting your attention so you have the mental bandwidth left over to choose that universal, lasting knowledge we talked about. But hang on a second. Is simply reading books and managing your time enough? If we really pause and think about it deeply, just gathering knowledge isn't the final destination here. Being highly efficient and well-read is a fantastic start, for sure. But according to the author's own life experience, there is a much, much higher peak to climb. Section 5. To Contemplative Life.
The author reflects on something pretty incredible. His intense intellectual life naturally transitioned and elevated into a profound spiritual life, and he did this without going through any special, formal religious training. Borrowing a concept from the political philosopher Hannah Arendt, this is known as the contemplative life. It's a heightened meditative state where pure intellectual effort elevates your entire existence and opens what he calls the eye of wisdom. You literally begin to view your life and society as a whole through a much higher, crystal clear lens.
Section 6, 21st Century's Survival Key. Let's bring this all together.
By combining that deep pursuit of truth with the everyday practical art of Makiri, this philosophy becomes a vital navigational compass for modern work, life, and finding real meaning. Now, Okawa admits that reading late Victorian texts like Hamerton's original work isn't exactly easy for people today, with a constant flood of modern information. But if you can grasp that crucial difference between cheap data and true wisdom, and if you can apply the discipline to cut out the noise, you unlock a powerful new key to not just surviving, but truly thriving in the 21st century.
So I want to leave you with this final thought to chew on the next time you instinctively reach for your smartphone. You have a choice in how you feed your mind. Will it be the fleeting, trivial noise that leaves you totally exhausted? Or will you actively choose the lasting wisdom that elevates your entire life? The power to cut off the noise is completely in your hands. Thank you so much for exploring this with me today.